Okay, now let's look at section 8.6.1, which is titled Practice Loops. Practice loops, very important concept. Now, the subtitle is Abstract the problem and apply different starting points. It's a mouthful, but let's see what it means. Now, the first example I use is the tremolo. Because this is a common musical device we've looked at in other parts of the book, which some people get, other people never get, and it's actually gettable by everybody if you approach it in the right sort of way. So let's look at looping as the right sort of way to get results with tremolo. Now, first thing I list here is some of the advantages of looping. By looping, you can get many repetitions of a problem in a short time. Many repetitions in a short time. By playing the loop as musically as possible, with rhythm, articulation, dynamics and tone production, timbre, you're getting all of your technique and musical expression polished at the same time. That you're repeating a very small amount of material over and over, but you can bring all those other elements into bear on it as you practice. And the third point is you choose different starting points in the loop to get different angles of entry to that part of your technique. This is a very important point that there are so many variables when you perform that even if you always start the same scale with the same finger every time, which is probably a good idea, nothing is ever exactly the same twice. You'll be at different seating heights, different temperatures, different acoustics, and you've got to be able to adjust. So by approaching the material from different angles, you'll build this flexibility into your technique. You won't be as easily put off your game if something untoward happens, for example. Now let's look at the standard right-hand tremolo pattern, which is P-A-M-I. P-A-M-I. What I've done here is written out a C major scale with a pedal tone on top, played with the tremolo. Let me just play it for you first. And again. Now that's up to a medium sort of tempo, and you'll probably want to start much slower than that. But as I've said in other sections, some of these techniques are actually harder to do at slow tempos. Regardless of that, the way I've written it out here, no tempo marking because you're going to use various tempos. I've put an accent on the first note, of course, and the third note of each group. 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or to use the proper French time names. Taffa, teffa, taffa, teffa, taffa, teffa, teffa, taffa, teffa, taffa, teffa. I'm just playing two C's, which is the first two notes of this pattern. And as we know from other sections of the book, I should even simplify it further and just play the strings that those notes belong to without worrying about the fretting hand. So there'll be the fifth string and the second string. Taffa, teffa, taffa, teffa, taffa, teffa, and a faster tempo. At a slightly faster tempo. Now you'll notice while I'm playing it, I'm varying the timbre and the volume, the dynamics. And this is the way it should be, because you should be listening all the time, shaping the tone when you're playing music. When you're playing in a different environment or with different people, you'll need to use a different tone than what you probably used at home anyway. Just to be heard, and more importantly, to blend. This is a really important part of ensemble playing, whether it's in a rock band, jazz band or an orchestra, chamber group. is that you have to be able to, if you can't change your instrument's sound to blend with the others, well, they probably won't ask you back. Okay, so I've written 4 variations out now of this C major scale with the tremolo fingering. It's just one example of the many you could make up, and I hope you do make up. Let's take the first beat of the first example on open strings is P-A-M-I, P-A-M-I, P-A-M-I. The second example, we start one finger back in the pattern on I. So that's I, P, A, M, I, P, A, M, I, P, A, M. So it's the same sequence of fingers. We're just picking different starting points in that sequence and playing it musically. This gets more control developed of the whole pattern. So first we start on the P finger, then we start on the I finger. Obviously the next pattern will start on the M finger. It'll be M, I, P, A, M, I, P, A. And obviously the last variation will be starting on the A finger, A, M, I, P. And then we're back to where we started. There's only 4 possible starting points in this pattern. And we start back on the thumb. Now, there are books and books and books full of boring exercises involving open strings and various finger patterns, and they're pretty mind-numbing, frankly. I'm not suggesting you do that sort of thing at all. I'm suggesting you only do the open string variant long enough to be absolutely sure what's happening and secure. Then you apply some interesting musical pattern to it. For example, this scale. The second variation, starting on the I finger. The next variation, starting on the middle finger. And lastly, starting on the A finger.